everyone, welcome to the channel. Today's video is going to be AgraveiN's first place finish at Twitch Rivals, his Selesnya tokens build. This deck can be very explosive and have a huge board with large creatures in a very, very short amount of time due to the convoke keyword. So some of the key cards to look out for are Venerated Loxodon. This is potentially one of the best cards in the deck. It's 4/4, it's got Convoke, and each creature that taps to convoke it gets a +1/+1 counter on it. So you get 5 creatures, you tap them all, and they each get a +1/+1 counter. A removal, Conclave Tribunal, also convokes, so we get to play it fast. March of the Multitudes. It's our main token producer. Once we get a board, we can convoke to create more tokens. It's instant speed. They all have lifelink. What more can you say? Another key card, History of Benalia. This is an awesome card. It's one card that puts out two 2/2 night tokens, and then at the end of it, gives them +2/+1 for the turn. The card advantage you get out of this is insane, because it's one card, you get 2 creatures, and then also an anthem at the end of it. It's a key card for a lot of decks, and for good reason. So let's get started. Okay, so we're just going to be starting with playing best of 1 for the moment to get a feel for the deck. I like to do this first because once you get a good grasp of the main deck, you can understand the reasoning for wanting to sideboard certain cards in certain matchups. It just makes the game a lot easier right now while you're learning the deck. Later when you're preparing for a tournament, you definitely want to be playing best of 3 to get those sideboarded games in, because they matter. You could potentially be playing 2 sideboarded games versus just 1 mainboarded game, so the importance of sideboarded games goes way up. So let's get started and see how we do. Okay, welcome to game 1. This hand does not look like it's keepable. We have 3 white cards. One is double white. The other green cards aren't playable until we draw planes, so this hand doesn't do much right now. We're going to mulligan and get a much better hand. Okay, so I think we'll keep this hand. It is double forest, which isn't great, but this is a 1 white spell, this is 1 white, this is castable in 1 white, so we do want to find a plains, but we at least can play some tokens and get the ball rolling. Sunpetal Grove is exactly what we need, so we're going to keep that on top. We're definitely going to start with Emmara, depending if we draw something crazy on the second turn that wants us to convoke, but as of right now our plan is Emmara. The upside is you get to attack with it, create a token versus just 2 tokens, where we could later kick this, potentially. So I'm not sure what we're playing against right now. I haven't seen a deck with this card in it yet, so we will find out soon enough, though. Easy, no block. And he just passes the turn. Now I think we will attack first, see if he has pump. We could always respond with indestructible if he does have a trick, and we get a token out of it. It's not ideal, we don't want that to happen. We want to be able to play our Saproling Migration after this, but it's worth going for. Okay, we're just going to play this. And set up a March of the Multitudes next turn. So 5 damage or a token. I think we're going to sacrifice a token. So 5 damage is a lot. Even though we want our tokens, I don't think we can afford that right now. We are not going to block either. Okay, so we're in a bit of an awkward position here. So if we take the 2, that gives us an extra token, which will have lifelink. This will give it a +1/+1 counter, so it will kind of negate itself. Next turn, we were likely going to take 5, 7. But I think that's okay. So let's just pay our 2 life, and we will pass the turn. Because this is an instant, we can just keep this up. Okay, so whenever he plays a non-token dragon, he gets another dragon. That's pretty good. Let's see what he does here. Okay. Now I'm tempted to block with Emmara, just because we have another one in our hand. So the value of this is basically 0. But if we can trade, then the value of it goes way up. So let's do that. Let's block. And this is going to be for 4. I do need to gain some life here. This is a good card. This is one of the better draws we could have had, because we wanted to play this turn regardless. So now we get to play this, flip our Legion's Landing, and everything gets a +1/+1 counter. So we're going to all attack, flip, gain a bunch of life. And that sets us up for Tristani next turn, which hopefully will end the game. I'm not sure why he didn't block there. It's free. I don't know of a 1 white spell that can deal 4 damage to his blocker, but it's okay. It's obviously a beginner deck, so we can't be too hard on him. Okay, I don't know if there's a reason to run out Tristani here. He only has 3 blockers, he's at 4 life, we need to get through 2 creatures. He would have to kill 3 creatures here. So I think we're just going to attack, because we don't know what it's in his deck. There's really no reason to overcommit. Even though it's a deck that you wouldn't normally see, you still have to respect them. And maybe even more so because you know less about what's in their deck. Okay, go to damage. Okay, welcome to game 2. So we can play our Tithe Taker. We have 2 unbreakable formations, which right now don't do a lot. If we had a forest, I would say we keep this because we could play both of our 2 jobs and start getting tokens out there. But since this hand needs quite a bit to develop, we should mulligan this. Okay, this hand is much better. We have both of our colors, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, removal. So yeah, can't ask for much better. We do need our 3rd land for history, so we will keep that on top. And we'll play our plains and pass. Play our Sunpetal Grove and Emmara. Okay, we have to discard. If he's playing cards like Burglar Rat, we probably are less likely to want Conclave Tribunal. I think we just want to be aggressive. I could be wrong. We could just want to discard Saproling Migration here because we don't really have any payoffs for our tokens currently. And we could just lose to a big card. But he could have removal and we'll want the creatures here. So I'm gonna go with my gut and say Saproling. And we drew another one, so we're okay with that. But in all likelihood, he's probably playing his bombs that are from his collection. So Conclave Tribunal is probably the better card to keep here. Just going to attack with everything. He can trade for our token if he wants to. Now, I'm not sure if I want to play out Saproling here, and the reason is he could have a board wipe, and we don't want to run into that, so I think we'll just keep it back. We have no reason to overcommit anything here with this board state. If he does nothing here, we might just march, but he concedes, and we get a quick victory here. Hey everyone, welcome to game 3. I think this hand is a keep. I do wish we had a plains or a white source that came into play untapped. But given the quality of our hand, with Loxodon, Emmara, Tristani, like we definitely want to keep this hand. Yeah, so let's see what happens. Looks like we're against red, and we actually did draw the untapped land for plains. So we are going to start with Allegiance Landing. Okay, so blue-red, so this is probably a Drake's deck. Let's start off with an attack. And go to Emmara, our key 2 job. She has done some work for us this tournament. Okay. So here I think I want to lead with Saproling Migration, and then that sets up next turn for a Venerated Loxodon after our Incubation Druid, and that sets up Tristani afterwards. So and Incubation Druid plus the Loxodon. Incubation Druid will get a counter, and then afterwards it'll be able to tap for 3 mana. Okay. They're doing a good job of slowing us down here. Let's see what they discard. Fight with Fire. Okay. So we still get to play our Druid, which will leave us 3 creatures on the board. And then our Loxodon that convokes for 5. Now if we draw another land, we can just naturally play out our Tristani. Which we didn't. But I believe we can play this plus another Loxodon. So let's go with that. 2, 4, 5. Let's get our attack in, because why not? And then let's convoke 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we'll end turn. Alright, so this is how explosive this deck can be. You just play out your entire hand, and the synergies between everything pumping each other. It really gets overwhelming for your opponent if they can't stop you early. And now even we have Flourish after this, or are Unbreakable here, but there's just nothing they can do. So let's do this. The Overkill. Hey everyone, welcome to game 4. I think this hand is keepable. It's got some strong cards in it. It's a little weird, but we should be able to Legion's Landing into a flower and then set up History on turn 3 if we don't draw another land. And then Loxodon will let us set up some good plays with our 2/2 Knight tokens. So yeah, let's keep this. Let's see how it works. If we don't draw another land here, we can Legion's Landing plus another flower. So I think that is likely what we will do here. And he doesn't want to trade his Steamkin, which is understandable. We'll grab a Plains, play our second Legion. So this is very awkward for the red deck because our tokens have lifelink. If he attacks, we're really only taking 2 from his Steamkin because we're gonna gain 2 right back. So we'll take this, but what choice does he have? Okay. Aggressive start, for sure. The question is, do we want to Conclave Tribunal? He only has 1 card in hand. I think this might be the play. That we Conclave Tribunal, leave 1 back to block his Pyromancer, and hopefully his last card is nothing. Because we're at 7, we don't want to put us in the range where we can die to... We want to be out of 2 bolts. And I think this is the best way of doing that. We'll go no attacks. Okay, I think we do need to block. Alright, so he still needs 2 spells to kill us. He could have a bolt. I think we don't... We could Unbreakable here, which is super weird. But it puts a counter on our lifelinker that puts us to 7, and then he suddenly needs 3 cards to kill us with 1 card in hand. It also protects our 1/1 from Chain Whirler, and I think this is the play. It's weird, but I think it is. We're at this point, our hand we're winning the long game, so we want to not lose first before try to win. So let's do this. Let's gain our 2. We'll pass, and then this sets us up much better for the future. And he really can't even attack now. So I almost want to Conclave Tribunal the Flame. That way he doesn't get to draw his extra cards next turn. Alternatively, we could attack and then play our Loxodon. I think we're just going to Tribunal, because again, we're playing not to lose here. How we lose is him drawing extra cards, and then being able to turn his shocks into 5 damage spells. So, I'm fine attacking here. We'll gain our 2. Putting us at 9 is much larger than 7 here. So this is a free spell with our Loxodon. Now we want to close out the game as fast as possible. Okay. This should be game, because I don't think there's anything he can draw to deal 5 to us in 1 turn. Although, we are 1 damage short here, aren't we? Okay, he has 1 draw. I think we did everything we could this game to stay alive, so we'll see. We will see. Alright, good game, man. I think the gaining 2 that one turn with the token really saved us that game, and that's a pivotal point that usually you want to just run out all the cards you can, progress the board as far as you can, but you have to consider your life against that deck, and gaining the 2 there mattered a lot, and it just shows at the end of the game. So. Hey everyone, welcome to Game 5. So we are on the play. We have Emmara, we have History, we have a Loxodon, and a couple marches. I don't really like having 2 marches, but I think if I had this hand on 6 without a march, I would keep it. So let's just go for it and see how it turns out. Blue-green so far. We'll see if he plays a black source. And it looks like it's probably the Gates deck here. So they have the 3 mana deal X damage to creatures equal to the number of gates you have, which is really strong against us. So we want to be careful on how we play out our hand. We have to keep that in mind. So right now they could deal 3 and wipe our board if they play another land, a gate, which would come in untapped, but I think we want to push as much damage as possible while trying to maintain our as much action in our hand as possible, because we can assume they have that card in their hand. There it is for 2. Let's see here. We will attack. Oh no, we won't. It doesn't have haste. But we can march at the end of the turn for 2. Hopefully. I think against this deck, you really have to bank on them just having this one. If they have multiples, they're probably just going to beat us. So. I'm gonna play this for 2. Okay, let's get our attack in. And then what's Migration and Loxodon? And hope he doesn't have another Gates Ablaze. If he does, this game probably wasn't winnable by any means, but it's just one of those things. If we did get in one more attack and put him to 2, that leaves our march up for a strong play. So we can march for 2, instant speed, and catch him off guard that way, potentially. Okay. Yeah, so I think I'm just fine attacking out here. We don't need to Tribunal. If he wants to block a 1/1, we're okay with that. He's just trying to save as much damage as possible. Ideally he doesn't have the Gates Ablaze, but we will see. he has drawn a lot of cards. I'm not sure what this matchup looks like, really. Okay, that's a good sign for us. He could play out a Colossus here, hoping to block. But I don't know what he's trying to get out of that. Maybe multiple Colossus? Okay, with only one up, I think we march for 3. I'm not sure what he can cast for 1. Hey everyone, welcome to Game 6. So we are on the play. We have a 2-drop, a couple of Conclave Tribunals, and our Loxodon with 3 lands. I think this hand is keepable. We do want to draw some more action cards, but it is not a mulligan hand in my opinion. Looks like we're against mono blue. So if they play a okay, since they didn't suit up their Storm Tamer, that's really good for us. Something their deck is very good at is getting a couple of creatures on the board and then just controlling everything. I think History is going to be really good against them, and it's something they're not going to be able to stop very easily. With that said, I think we'll just attack, play History, and then move on, because at this point we're winning this race, and they're going to have to respond to us and not vice versa. They like to be the ones that have to be responded to, so putting as much pressure on them as quickly as possible will open up Conclave Tribunal later in the game to be resolved. Okay. So we want to Conclave. This is the one with Summoning Sickness. So we'll cast that. This opens up our attacks. And we will attack. And same play. It looks like they're missing their land drop. So let's see here. Since we have to tap one creature regardless, this Tithe Taker will be free. For our Conclave Tribunal. what we want to do is tap this, and I believe we'll tap a token. That way we can replace it with Emmara. I guess it wasn't quite free here. But I still think it's worth getting our creatures out on the board. Okay, good game. Hi everyone, welcome to Game 7. So this hand is pretty decent, it looks like. We have a 2-drop or a 3-drop. Flower and Flourish and March the Multitudes with the lands we need to cast everything. So I'm going to keep this hand. I don't think we're going to use Flower though, because we have everything we need to cast our spells. So that spell is just purely going to be for pumping our creatures later in the game to finish the game off. So let's keep this and see what we're up against. Another mono red deck, it looks like. Since his Lava Runner is a 1/2, it's kind of a good block potentially. If he leaves mana up, we don't want to block. Okay, now we can't block, but that's okay. That's a very aggressive line by him. Double shock just to get through for the 2 here. I don't think he's going to like our next play very much, but we'll see. It's so tough for a deck like Mono Red because you have to decide, do I go face or do I kill their creatures? And if I kill their creatures, I'm losing a lot of damage on their face through my spells. At this point we just need to survive, so we're gonna block. And you know, they have 2 cards in hand, we're at 16 life. I mean, it's very difficult for them to come back from a game like this. So I'm not too worried about the electrostatic field right now. Something I'm debating here is playing Flower to set up larger marches. Because this isn't the type of deck we need to go super big on. We can kill them with a couple creatures once they're out of gas. So the more lifelinking tokens I can get, the better. So let's go ahead and play this. Let's grab a forest. I'm going to end turn. Now, I want to save this Conclave because one way we lose is through something like so I'm saving the Conclave because the one way we can lose this game is through a card like Experimental Frenzy. And if they drop that card, we really want to have Conclave to stop it, because it can give them so much card advantage and just keep playing cards off the top of their deck that we can't deal with. So this is an instance where I'm going to slow down a little bit on that card just to see where we go. Okay, so it's basically free attack. Emmara, we're going to play. That does lessen our march by 1, but we get an extra token out of it, so it is free. And this game should be winnable from here. No. Something I would consider maybe is getting rid of the lava runner, so my 1/1s can get through, but I really don't think it's that big of a deal. I'm gonna attack with everything but Emmara to set up another March turn. We just want to gain as much life as possible. Throwing away a 1/1 for 1 life is completely fine. We're gonna play Tithe Taker, and we're gonna end the turn here. They have drawn a lot of lands, which is fortunate for us, but I'm not sure it has mattered too much. The lifelink in this deck, plus going wide, is really hard to beat for a lot of decks. Okay, I'm gonna do this. It's for 3. It's for 2, but Emmara makes it 3. Something we do need to be cautious of is Chain Whirler. So because of that, I really don't want Emmara to die. This is a tough call. He's at 15. I do want to keep getting tokens with Emmara. But if he does draw a Chain Whirler, it severely limits what we can do anyway. Let's attack with everything but Emmara. He could block our Tithe Taker. Okay. I think playing Conclave here is a little greedy, so we're gonna wait. He may not even be playing Chain Whirler, which after seeing Gutter Snipe, it's a high probability he isn't, I would say, because he wants more spells in his deck. But our opponents can do literally anything, so. Now he's getting, well, he was getting aggressive. Yeah, you know, let's keep the pressure on, keep gaining life. We do need to start drawing some spells, but at this rate, 1-for-1 cards, we're going to be way better than he is. Yeah, like this, for example. We're just going to do no attacks and then bats. And this disguises our march really well because it wasn't a good attack anyway after that. Oh, and we missed that, but it's okay. I don't think it matters much. Same play. I won't be as clicky this time. Okay, this is for 8. I would like to see cards that aren't lands at this point, but I can't really complain too much about this game. Chain Whirler is a card that gets him back in this game, unfortunately. Just slightly, though. When we're at 29, it's still going to be hard for him to come back. We'll just end the turn. Okay. 8, he can only block 3, so 5 gets through. Good game. Alright, there's our 7 wins. Let's see what we get. A rare we already had, so we get the gems for it, and Steel Leaf Champion, not bad. That is played in some decks, so we'll take it. Alright, so my thoughts on the deck. Well, it seems amazing right now. We did play a couple of bad decks at the beginning, but towards the end we played mono blue, we played mono red, so those are 2 big decks in the format, and especially in best of 1, and we really didn't have much issue with either of them. The life gain, the go wide, the early pressure that this deck can provide is really overwhelming. And also against decks like Sultai Midrange yesterday on Twitch Rivals, there were moments where Fine Finality giving all creatures -4/-4 until end of turn just did nothing. So the deck has some reach, and I would not ignore this deck. If the format starts going towards more board wipes, that I could see being an issue. The Gates deck was probably the scariest one we played against. I think if they would have had another Gates Ablaze, that we would not have won that game. But we were fortunate that our opponent didn't have it. So overall, good 7-0. Cannot complain about that. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video.